Pregame.tv, basketball betting. Let's talk about specialization. We've spoken about this before, but I really think that in basketball, it's so important. Find some teams that you know very well and make that your core group that you actively handicap. Now, that's not to say you can't bet on every team. I'm just going to say the approach that I use is that I like to take a conference, Big Ten, and follow that conference and really get in-depth analysis on how those teams play, how they do first half versus second half, know the players, know the key injuries. And let's face it, if you spent maybe 20 minutes a day on each team, by the time you go through all the teams, you've already invested 3 hours a day just with that one conference. And that's why when I hear someone betting all 350 teams on the board, I just can't understand how you could possibly spend the time to be able to get those right. And they're betting the NBA as well. Same thing with the NBA. I'm a father at home, and I find that my schedule is best at later at night because the West Coast games start at 7:30, and so when they're playing on the West Coast, and then everyone's gone to sleep but me, and I can, or they're wrapping up, and I can go ahead and actually watch the games and actively handicap those. So it works better for me in the NBA to really go ahead and just follow the Western Conference and the teams out there. And this is not to say you can't be betting everything. I think that this is a good example where sharing information is a tremendous help. If you can find someone who, say, follows, the MAC, and you follow the Big Ten, and it can go as far as, them giving you their best bet each and every day. Or, I've even had guys, I have a Canadian football expert, and he used to, email me who he liked or texted me, and I finally said, just get me down. I'll get you down on my best bets on props in the NFL. Just every week, I bet me nickels on your CFL. So instead of saying I should go ahead and bet on the Rough Riders, and I have no idea who the Rough Riders are, just go ahead and say, hey, you got $500 plus 6 on Toronto, and I'm done. And I'm down on the Argonauts, and that approach works very well. And then if I should so choose, I can go and look at the handicap on that game, and maybe I might want to choose to bet more, knowing that my sharp is on that side. And so I know that all the time I've had people who send me texts, and they're like, oh my God, this is the best bet ever. You've got to get down on Northwestern Purdue under 127. Someone has bet this up, and I love the under, true example, I might add. But it's so inefficient. Or am I golfing? Am I at the doctor's appointment? I'd much rather get a text. Again, you got to know people well enough to do this and say, you're down for $550 to win 500 on Northwestern Purdue under 127. I love it. And then I'm like, boom, I've got my bet in through my buddy. He's placed it for me. I'm not paying him to place it, but we're just helping each other out. And that's a strategy that has really worked well for me in my own betting, where I just specialize. I only actively handicap a handful of teams, but I'll bet anything under the sun. I just bet Andy Murray against Roger Federer. The only thing I know about Roger Federer is that he gets $19 for every $20 when you buy razors each month. And since you should join the $1 a month Razor Club, unless you like Roger Federer, you don't need that. If you haven't seen that commercial, it's phenomenal. But the bottom line is, I don't even know if Andy Murray is left-handed or right-handed, but I do know that actually two experts out there favor him against Federer. So I bet Murray plus $1.10. We'll see how I do tonight in the Australian Open. That's not my free play because I'm not even sure where in Australia that they play. I really don't have a free play on this other than the specialization aspect of it. Find a few teams and know them very, very well. I've heard people tell me, but as a handicapper, you're obligated to know all these teams when you're on the radio and all that stuff. And I might add, one of the most successful handicapping groups out there, no secret, it's Right Angle Sports, and it's not a shock that he keeps landing on the UC Irvine, Cal Riverside. He focuses on the West Coast Conference. I believe he lives in Anaheim or somewhere around there, and so he stays close to home, and he really hammers that conference. He gets information from some other people and other places, but he's done as well as anyone has the past few years, and I think all things being equal, you see someone who's super successful, look to what they're doing and try to mimic or copy some of the best stuff that they do. And I know it works for me. So good luck with your basketball betting. I think sometimes people tell me more is more, but I really think less is more. I think you'll do better in your handicapping and your betting to focus on some specific teams.